You open your eyes, and even before you're fully awake, your heart is already racing. There is that familiar pit in your stomach, a sense of dread that settles over you like a heavy blanket. And you might have no idea why it's there. The day hasn't even begun, but you already feel defeated, sideswiped by a wave of anxiety that seems to come out of nowhere. If this sounds familiar, I want you to hear this loud and clear. You're not alone, and it's not your fault. There is a hidden biological process happening in your body, a completely normal response that for so many of us had just gone a bit haywire. In our today's video, we are going to pull back the curtain on exactly what that process is. More importantly, we are going to walk through simple science-backed things you can start doing to finally stop dreading your alarm clock and begin to reclaim your morning. So just take a slow breath. Let's begin into it. To understand why your body feels like it's hitting the panic button the second you wake up, we need to talk about a hormone you have probably heard of, cortisol. It gets a bad rap as the stress hormone, but its main job isn't actually to stress you out. It's a vital part of your body's internal clock. Every morning, your brain signals your adrenal glands to release a surge of cortisol. This natural process is called the Cortisol Awakening Response, or CAR. Think of it as your body's built-in alarm clock and sort of energy all in one. This surge is designed to help you get up and out of bed, to make you alert and ready to face the day. For a lot of people, this process is so smooth they don't even notice it. It's just a gentle nudge into wakefulness. So why does it feel like a panic attack for you? The problem often starts when your nervous system is already sensitized or overloaded. If you are dealing with chronic stress, navigating unresolved emotional issues, or are just more prone to anxiety, your body's perception of that cortisol surge completely changes. Instead of a gentle nudge, it feels like a hard sword. Your brain, already on high alert, can misinterpret this natural get up and go signal as a threat. That cortisol surge feels less like an energy boost and more like a full body alarm bell. Suddenly, all those physical sensations of alertness, a faster heart rate, quicker breathing, are labeled by your brain as anxiety, and the cycle begins. But the cortisol awakening response is rarely the only thing at play. Several other factors can pour fuel on the fire. First, there is your sleep quality. Poor, disturbed sleep is a huge contributor. When you don't get enough sleep, restorative rest, your nervous system doesn't have a chance to fully reset. You wake up with a lower resilience to stress, which can make that normal cortisol spike feel much more intense than it should. Second, there is something we call anticipatory anxiety. This is when your mind, often unconsciously, starts racing through the day's to-do list, potential stressors, and all your worries the moment you become conscious. You're not even out of bed, but you are already stressing about a meeting, a tough conversation, or just the sheer number of things you have to get done. This mental rehearsal for disaster primes your body for a fight or flight response before your feet even touch the floor. And finally, some simple biological factors can be at play. Things like low blood sugar after fasting all night can actually trigger symptoms that feel just like anxiety. Hormonal imbalances or even too much caffeine the day before can also leave your system on a hair trigger, ready to overreact to that morning cortisol. It's a perfect storm of biology and psychology, where your body's natural rhythm collides with the build-up stress of your life. Given this intense biological process, it's completely natural to see this morning anxiety as the enemy. It feels like something you have to fight, push down, and defeat. Wake up, feel that jolt, and our first instinct is to often get angry at it, to feel broken, and to ask, why is this happening to me again? But what if we tried to look at it differently? Instead of an enemy, I want to invite you to think of your anxiety as a messenger. Think of it like a smoke alarm. A smoke alarm is loud, annoying, and incredibly uncomfortable. You wouldn't want it going off all the time. But its purpose isn't to ruin your day. Its purpose is to alert you to a potential fire. It's a signal that something needs your attention. Morning anxiety is your nervous system's smoke alarm. It's a flare, a signal that your system is overloaded. It's your body's ancient protective instinct trying to keep you safe from what it perceives as a threat. Even if those threats are just a packed schedule or an overflowing inbox. The alarm might be overly sensitive right now, but it's still just trying to do its job. When you blame yourself, you add layers of shame or frustration on top of the anxiety. You're just getting angry at the smoke alarm for being loud. That doesn't turn it off, and it certainly doesn't put out the fire. In fact, it just adds more stress to the system, making the alarm even more likely to go off tomorrow. This isn't a sign that you are weak, it's a sign that your nervous system is working overtime to protect you. Understanding this is the first step towards compassion, and it's compassion, not conflict, that will ultimately help you deal down the sensitivity of that alarm. Before we get into the practical, actionable steps you can take to calm this response, just take a moment to check in with yourself. If this is creating a light bulb moment for you, consider subscribing for more content that helps you understand the psychology behind your own experiences. And I have a question for you. I would really love to see your answer. I would really love to know your answer. When you wake up anxious, what is the very first thought that typically runs through your mind? Please don't share in the comment, just write it in your notebook. So if you aren't supposed to fight the anxiety, what do we actually do? We learn to work with our biology. We give our nervous system what it needs to feel safe, which in turn helps regulate that intense cortisol awakening response. The key here is action over rumination. You can't think your way out of a psychological state. You have to move your way out of it, even in small ways. So here is a 5-step toolkit you can start using tomorrow. First, name it. Don't become it. Well, that wave of anxious thoughts hits. Instead of getting swept away, try to gently level it. Just say to yourself, okay, a part of me is feeling really worried about today, and that's okay. Or I can feel the anxious part of me is activated right now. This simple act does something profound. It creates a little bit of space between you and the anxiety. You're not your anxiety. You are the one noticing the anxiety. This small shift moves you from being consumed by it to being a compassionate observer of it. Second, ground your body before your phone. Probably the worst thing you can do when you wake up anxious is to immediately reach for your phone. The flood of notifications, emails, and news is like pouring gasoline on cortisol fire. Instead, make your very first action a physical one that grounds you right there, right now. Before you even get out of bed, place both feet flat on the floor. Feel the texture of the carpet or the coolness of the wood. Take 3 slow, deep breaths and make your exhale longer than your inhale. Touch something near you, a cold glass of water, the fabric of your blanket. This sends a powerful signal to your nervous system. I am safe. I am in this room. It is now. This simple act of physical grounding helps settle your body before your mind has a chance to spiral. Third, eat a little something before coffee. That cortisol surge has already put your body on high alert. When you pour a stimulant like caffeine on top of that, especially on an empty stomach, you can create jitter storm. Your blood sugar is already low, which can cause anxiety symptoms on its own, and the caffeine spike can send your jitters through the roof. Before you have your morning coffee or tea, try eating small handful of nuts, a piece of fruit. A little protein or fat can help stabilize your blood sugar and give the cortisol something productive to do, rather than just bouncing around your system creating anxiety. Fourth, prepare your morning the night before. A huge trigger for morning anxiety is waking up and immediately feeling overwhelmed by decisions. You can drastically reduce this by taking just 10 minutes the night before to create some order. Lay out your clothes, pack your lunch, write down the top 3 most important tasks for the next day. This closing of the loop signals your brain that things are under control, that there is a plan. This creates a psychological sense of safety that reduces the what if anxiety that fuels morning dread. You wake up with fewer decisions to make, which frees up mental energy to focus on feeling calm. Fifth, know when to seek deeper support. These tools can be incredibly effective for managing day-to-day morning anxiety, but if your anxiety is persistent, severe, and getting in the way of your ability to function, it may be a sign of something deeper. like a clinical anxiety disorder, depression, or unprocessed trauma. There is absolutely no shame in this. Reaching out to a psychologist or a therapist isn't a sign of failure. It's a brave and powerful step towards healing. A professional can help you find the strategies that are tailored specifically to you and address the root cause of your anxiety in a safe and supportive space. Warning: anxiety is not a life sentence. It is not a character flaw. It is a flare from your nervous system, a biological signal asking for your attention and your care. When you stop fighting it and start listening to what it's trying to tell you, that your system is overloaded and needs support, you can begin to build a new relationship with your body. You can learn to work with your body's natural rhythms instead of against them. You don't have to start every day in a state of panic. You can learn to wake up with softness. You can start with a single deep breath. You can start with your feet on the floor. You can start with compassion. Change is possible, and you have the power to begin that change today. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this was helpful, please give it a like and maybe share it with someone else who needs to hear this message. Take care of yourself. Thank you. See you in the next.